The massive underground complex of Earth's deep space monitoring station hummed with its usual quiet energy. Banks of computers processed countless signals from space, their screens casting a soft blue glow across the dim room. It was just another normal day. Until it wasn't. Jack Miller had been watching these screens for 15 years. He knew every normal pattern, every regular signal that crossed his monitors. That's why his hand froze midway to his coffee cup when he noticed something different. The signal wasn't much, just a slight distortion in what should have been empty space. But it was enough. "Sir," he called out, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "I think you need to see this." Commander Thomas Reed walked over, his boots making no sound on the padded floor. He was a tall man with gray hair and eyes that had seen more than he would ever tell. Leaning over Miller's shoulder, he studied the readings with intense focus. "How long has this been appearing?" Reed asked, his voice low and controlled. "First noticed it about 20 minutes ago, sir. It's not natural. The pattern repeats too perfectly." Reed straightened up and walked to the main control panel. With a few quick commands, he brought up similar readings from other monitoring stations around the globe. His expression darkened as he saw the same pattern appearing in their data. "Get me General Roberts," he ordered, reaching for the secure phone line. "Authorization code Echo 7 Delta." The room grew quiet as Reed spoke into the phone. The other technicians tried to look busy, but everyone was listening. They had trained for this. They had prepared for this. But now that it was actually happening, the air felt electric with tension. Within an hour, the Global Defense Forces High Command had gathered in their secret bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. The room was filled with military leaders from every major nation, their faces grim as they studied the evidence. "The patterns match what we saw 15 years ago," General Roberts said, pointing to the historical data. "Right before we found that crashed scout ship in the Arctic. They're back, and in greater numbers." Reed nodded, bringing up a three-dimensional map of Earth's orbit. Red dots appeared, showing the locations of the distortions. "By our count, there are at least 300 ships out there. They think they're hidden, but our quantum detection grid sees them clear as day." "Should we tell them we know they're there?" asked Admiral Jones, her fingers drumming on the table. "Not yet," Reed replied. "Let's wake up our sleeping giants first." Across the globe, hidden facilities began to power up. In the depths of the oceans, massive underwater bases activated their systems. In remote mountain ranges, concealed hangar doors prepared to open for the first time in decades. Beneath the ice of Antarctica, rows of ships, built with reversed engineered alien technology, waited for their pilots. Humanity had not been idle since finding that scout ship. They had learned, adapted, and prepared. The aliens thought they were watching an unsuspecting planet. Instead, they were being watched themselves. In the monitoring station, Miller continued tracking the alien ships. He noticed how they maintained perfect formation, how they stayed just outside what they thought was Earth's detection range. They were confident in their superiority, just as the scout ship had been 15 years ago. Commander Reed stood at the main window, looking up at the night sky. Somewhere up there, the aliens were probably congratulating themselves on their stealth. They had no idea that humanity had known about them for years. No idea that their crashed scout ship had given Earth all the advantages it needed. "Send the alert to all sleeping facilities," Reed ordered, "but maintain normal activity patterns on the surface. Let them think their deception is working." As the alert went out, Reed allowed himself a small smile. The aliens thought they were dealing with a primitive species, one that would be easy to conquer. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. In the coming days, humanity would show these visitors exactly what 15 years of preparation looked like. But for now, they would wait, ready and watching. The real show was about to begin, and Earth had front-row seats to its own greatest performance. The first move had been made. The pieces were in place, and humanity was ready for what came next. 3 days had passed since the discovery of the alien fleet. On the surface, Earth continued its normal routines. Cars filled the streets, planes crossed the skies, and satellites maintained their usual orbits. Below the surface, however, the planet was holding its breath. Commander Reed stood in the Global Defense Force's main command center, watching the massive wall screen that showed the positions of the cloaked alien ships. Their number had grown to 400 vessels, forming a web around Earth. "All defense platforms are ready," reported General Roberts. "Every nation has confirmed their readiness. It's time." Reed nodded. "Send the message." In orbit, hidden transmitters powered up. They had been built specifically for this moment, designed to pierce any known type of cloaking technology. The message was simple, broadcast in over 50 formats, including the alien language they had learned from the scout ship's computers. "We see you. We've always seen you." For 30 seconds, nothing happened. Then the screens lit up with activity. The alien ship's cloaking fields flickered and failed. One by one, they appeared in Earth's skies, massive vessels that blocked out the stars. "They're powering up their weapons," Miller reported from his station. His voice was calm. They had trained for this. A new signal came through, and a face appeared on the main screen. The alien commander looked almost human, except for its blue skin and silver eyes. When it spoke, its words were translated instantly by Earth's computers. "Primitive species of Earth," the alien said, its voice filled with authority. "Your detection of our presence is impressive, but it changes nothing. Surrender now, and we will make your integration into the galactic empire painless." Reed stepped forward. Unlike the alien, he wore a simple uniform with no decorations. "We appreciate your offer," he said, his voice steady. "But I think there's been a misunderstanding." He pressed a button, and across Earth, hidden doors began to open. In orbit, thousands of defensive platforms emerged from dimensional pockets, technology reverse-engineered from the scout ship. From the oceans, massive vessels rose, their hulls gleaming with advanced alloys. From mountain bases worldwide, squadrons of fighters took to the sky. The alien commander's silver eyes widened. "Impossible," it whispered. "Your technology level," our scouts reported. "Your scout ship?" Reed asked. "The one that crashed in the Arctic 15 years ago. It was very helpful. Thank you for that." Around the world, more of Earth's hidden strength was revealing itself. Underground bases opened to show rows of ships built with hybrid human-alien technology. Quantum radar stations activated, showing the locations of every alien vessel in high detail. "This is your only warning," Reed continued. "Earth is not defenseless. Earth is not primitive. And Earth is not alone." As if to prove his point, ships began emerging from Jupiter's atmosphere. Earth's hidden fleet, stationed there for just this moment. They had used the planet's storms as cover, another trick learned from alien technology. The alien commander's face showed a mix of shock and anger. "You dare threaten the Empire? We have conquered thousands of worlds. And that's precisely why we prepared," Reed replied. "We saw what you did to other worlds. We learned from their mistakes. Every ship you see is armed with weapons designed specifically to counter your technology." To demonstrate, a single Earth defense platform fired a focused quantum beam. It passed straight through the shields of an alien vessel, disabling its main drive without causing any casualties. The massive ship drifted, powerless. "That was a warning shot," Reed said. "We can disable your entire fleet just as easily. We've had 15 years to prepare, and we used that time well." The alien commander's expression had changed from confidence to uncertainty. Behind him, officers could be seen rushing around, probably trying to find a way to counter Earth's unexpected defenses. "You have 1 hour to retreat beyond the orbit of Mars," Reed stated. "After that, we will consider your presence an act of war. And trust me, you don't want to see what else we've prepared." The screen went dark. In orbit, the alien ships hung motionless, their commanders undoubtedly trying to decide if Earth was bluffing. But Earth wasn't bluffing. They had spent 15 years getting ready for this moment, and they were just getting started. The hour was almost up. Earth's forces remained in position, weapons ready but not yet targeting the alien fleet. In the command center, Reed watched as the aliens made no move to retreat. Instead, their ships began to spread out into an attack formation. "They're going to test us," Miller said from his monitoring station. "Their energy readings are increasing." Reed nodded. He had expected this. "Launch Phase 3, he ordered. Across the solar system, humanity revealed its next level of preparation. Hidden bases on Mars opened their doors. The dark side of the moon lit up with previously invisible installations. Even the asteroid belt came alive as human outposts shed their camouflage. "Earth is not just our home," Reed broadcast to the alien fleet. "It's our fortress. And this entire solar system is our defense line." The alien commander's face appeared again on the main screen. This time, there was a hint of respect in those silver eyes. "Your deception was thorough," it admitted, "but you cannot hope to match our experience in space warfare." As if to prove this point, 3 alien ships fired their main weapons at Earth's orbital platforms. The energy beams streaked toward their targets, and then curved away, caught by invisible fields. "Gravity manipulation," General Roberts explained, stepping forward. "We learned that one from your weapons systems. Amazing what you can discover from a single scout ship when you have the right motivation." The alien commander's face darkened. "You had no right to." "No right," Reed interrupted. "Like you had no right to invade countless peaceful worlds. We found the records in your ship's database. We saw what you did to those civilizations that weren't ready for you." On cue, Earth's lunar bases activated their main systems. Massive holograms appeared in space, showing recordings from the scout ship, scenes of alien invasions, of worlds falling because they weren't prepared. "We learned from their sacrifice," Reed continued. "Every failed defense, every lost battle. We studied them all. Then we designed countermeasures for every tactic you used. To demonstrate, Earth's defense grid activated its full sensor array. Suddenly, the aliens could see just how many weapons were pointed at them. Hidden satellites, asteroid-mounted cannons, and orbital platforms all revealed their true nature. The alien ships tried to retreat, but found themselves trapped by overlapping gravity fields, the same technology they had used to trap other worlds. "Your own weapons," Reed said, "turned against you. That scout ship taught us everything we needed to know, and we had 15 years to improve on your designs." In the asteroid belt, mining ships transformed into battle cruisers. What had appeared to be simple resource gatherers were actually advanced warships, disguised using the aliens' own cloaking technology. "This is impossible," the alien commander said. "No species has ever." "No species ever had a warning," Reed replied. "We did. That crashed scout ship was the best thing that ever happened to Earth. It showed us what was coming. And humanity has always been good at one thing: learning from our mistakes." Earth's forces continued to reveal themselves. What the aliens had thought was a primitive planetary defense system was actually just the outer layer of something far more complex. "Your ship's database had records of 100 conquered worlds," Reed continued. "We contacted the survivors. Many of them helped us prepare. You thought you were facing one primitive planet. You're actually facing the combined knowledge of every world that learned from your invasions." The alien commander's silver eyes widened as the truth sank in. Earth wasn't just defending itself. It had become the center of a hidden resistance, gathering intelligence and technology from throughout the galaxy. "You have a choice," Reed said. "Retreat now, and take a message back to your empire. Earth is not a target. Earth is not a victim. Earth is the line you don't cross." In orbit, Earth's ships moved into attack positions. On the moon, massive weapon arrays powered up. From Mars, squadrons of fighters emerged from hidden bases. The alien fleet hung in space, caught between retreat and attack. They had come expecting an easy conquest. Instead, they had found their own tactics, their own technology, turned against them by a world that had spent 15 years getting ready for this exact moment. The real question was, what would they do about it? Admiral Kate Wilson stood on the bridge of the Earth ship Guardian, watching the alien fleet through the main viewport. After 15 years of preparation, it was time to show these invaders exactly what humanity could do. All ships in position, her tactical officer reported. Defense grid at full power. Wilson nodded. Begin the demonstration. The Guardian moved forward, its hull gleaming with a strange blue light. It was humanity's first true space battleship, built using a combination of Earth innovation and reversed-engineered alien technology. As it approached the alien fleet, several enemy ships turned to track its movement. They're charging weapons, Miller reported from Earth Command, his voice coming through clearly on the command channel. Let them, Wilson replied. That's exactly what we want. 3 alien ships fired at once, their energy beams cutting through space toward the Guardian. At the last moment, the beams hit an invisible barrier and split apart, turning into harmless light shows. Quantum shield technology, Wilson broadcast to the alien fleet. But we made some improvements to your original design. The Guardian's hull began to pulse with energy. Waves of blue light rippled across its surface, and suddenly, 5 of the closest alien ships lost power. They drifted in space, their engines dead, their weapons silent. Electromagnetic pulse technology, Wilson explained, modified to target your specific power systems. We learned that from studying your scout ship's weaknesses. The alien commander's face appeared on her screen, showing a mix of anger and disbelief. This is advanced warfare technology. Your people couldn't have developed this so quickly. We had help, Wilson replied. From every world you tried to conquer. They shared their knowledge, their experiences. Every failed defense taught us something new. To prove her point, the Guardian activated its main weapon, a beam of concentrated dark matter, something the aliens had thought impossible for humans to control, shot out and created a temporary hole in space. 3 alien ships found themselves pulled toward it, only stopping when Wilson ordered the beam to shut down. Dark matter manipulation, she said. Your scientists said it couldn't be done safely. Ours found a way. Around Earth, more demonstrations began. Defense platforms fired weapons that passed straight through alien shields. Hidden satellites activated gravity wells that trapped enemy ships in place. Earth's fighters showed maneuvers that the aliens had thought impossible for primitive vessels. Each improvement, Wilson continued, came from studying your technology. Each advancement was tested against your known weapons. We turned our entire solar system into a testing ground, preparing for this moment. The Guardian moved through the alien fleet, untouched by their increasingly desperate attacks. Every shot they fired was either absorbed or redirected. Every tactic they tried had already been analyzed and countered. Here's something your records didn't show you, Wilson said, pressing a button on her command chair. The Guardian's hull seemed to ripple, and suddenly the ship split into 3 identical vessels. The alien sensors couldn't tell which was real and which were holograms, because they were all real thanks to quantum duplication technology. Impossible, the alien commander whispered. No, Wilson replied, just unlikely. You thought you were facing a primitive species. Instead, you're facing a world that has spent 15 years doing nothing but preparing to fight you. The 3 Guardians moved in perfect formation, each one disabling more alien ships with precise, non-lethal attacks. Earth wasn't just defending itself. It was showing that it could win without destroying its opponents. Your empire has conquered worlds through fear, Wilson said. We're showing you something different. We could destroy your ships. Instead, we're choosing to disable them. Remember that when you report back to your leaders. The demonstration continued as more of Earth's ships joined the Guardian. Each one showed capabilities that the aliens had thought impossible for humanity to achieve. Each maneuver proved that Earth had not just caught up to alien technology. In many ways, they had surpassed it. The alien fleet hung in space, their confidence shattered, their superiority proven false. They had come to conquer a primitive world. Instead, they found themselves facing the most prepared civilization they had ever encountered. And Earth wasn't done showing what it could do. The meeting room on the neutral space station was silent. Earth had chosen this location, a newly revealed facility floating at the exact midpoint between Earth and Mars. The station's walls gleamed with advanced materials that blocked all scanning and transmission attempts. Commander Reed sat at one end of the long table, with Admiral Wilson and General Roberts beside him. At the other end sat the alien commander, who had finally introduced himself as High Commander Val, along with two of his senior officers. Their blue skin seemed darker in the room's bright light, their silver eyes constantly moving as they studied everything around them. "Your demonstration was convincing," Val said, breaking the silence. "But surely you understand that the Empire cannot allow such advanced technology to exist outside our control." Reed smiled slightly. "I don't think you understand the situation, Commander. We're not asking for permission." With a gesture, Reed activated the room's holographic display. Images appeared in the air between them, hundreds of worlds, each one a victim of the Empire's expansion. "We've been in contact with many of these worlds," Reed explained. "At first, they were afraid to help us, but when they saw how we used their information, how we learned from their experiences, they began to share more." Val's expression darkened. "Impossible. Our conquests are complete. No resistance remains." Wilson leaned forward. "That's where you're wrong. Resistance always remains. It just needed a focal point. Earth became that point." More images appeared, secret meetings, hidden technology exchanges, survivors sharing their knowledge. Earth had spent 15 years not just preparing its defenses, but building a network of allies throughout the galaxy. "Every world you conquered," Roberts added, "left behind survivors. People who remembered your tactics, your weapons, your weaknesses. They just needed someone to listen." Val stood up suddenly, his chair scraping against the floor. "This is treason." "Sit down," Reed commanded, his voice firm but calm. "You're not in charge here." To everyone's surprise, Val sat. Perhaps it was the tone in Reed's voice, or maybe it was the quiet confidence Earth's representatives showed. "Here's what's going to happen," Reed continued. "You're going to return to your empire. You're going to report that Earth is not a viable target for conquest, and you're going to remember what you saw here today." The holographic display changed again, showing the locations of Earth's defense systems throughout the solar system. But now it showed more: hidden bases in nearby star systems, secret shipyards, and weapon platforms that even the alien fleet hadn't detected. "We can track your ships through hyperspace," Wilson added. "We can detect your cloaked vessels. We can disable your weapons. And if necessary, we can strike at the heart of your empire." Val's silver eyes widened. "You wouldn't dare." "We don't want to," Reed replied. "Earth doesn't seek conquest. We only want peace. But we've learned from your history. Sometimes peace must be defended with strength." The room fell silent again as the aliens processed this information. They had come expecting to find a primitive world ready for conquest. Instead, they found a civilization that had spent 15 years preparing for this exact moment. "Your empire has a choice," Reed said finally. "You can accept that Earth and its allies are off limits, or you can test our defenses further. But remember, what you saw today was just a demonstration. We haven't shown you everything we can do." Val looked at his officers, then back at Reed. "The Empire has never retreated," he said, but his voice lacked its earlier confidence. "Then perhaps it's time for the Empire to learn something new," Reed replied. "Just as we learned from your scout ship, you can learn from this encounter. Change is possible. Peace is possible." The negotiations continued, but everyone in the room knew the real decision had already been made. Earth had shown its strength, revealed its preparations, and demonstrated its resolve. The Empire would have to adapt to a new reality, A reality where not every world was a potential conquest. A reality where humanity stood ready to defend not just itself, but any world that sought freedom. The age of easy conquest was over. The time of resistance had begun. The Earth's Global Defense Council gathered in their main chamber beneath the Rocky Mountains. On the massive screen before them, they watched as the alien fleet remained in position, still processing everything they had learned during the negotiations. Commander Reed stood at the central podium, with Admiral Wilson and General Roberts flanking him. Representatives from every nation on Earth filled the room, their faces showing a mix of pride and determination. "It's time for the final message," Reed announced. "Are all systems ready?" Miller's voice came through from his monitoring station. "All defense platforms active. All ships in position. We're ready, sir." Reed nodded and opened the channel to the alien fleet. High Commander Val's face appeared on the screen, his silver eyes narrowed with barely contained frustration. "Your time to decide has ended," Reed stated. "Now you will listen to humanity's final warning." With a signal from Reed, Earth revealed its last and most impressive show of force. Across the solar system, hidden quantum gates activated. These were humanity's greatest achievement, technology that even the Empire hadn't mastered. "We've established bases in every system within 1,000 light-years of Earth," Reed announced as the gates opened, showing glimpses of human outposts on distant worlds. "Each one is armed with the same technology you've seen here." Val's face showed shock as his sensors confirmed the truth. The quantum gates were real, allowing instant travel across vast distances. Earth had not just prepared its own system. It had secretly expanded throughout this sector of space. "Impossible," Val whispered. "The energy requirements alone." "We solved the energy problem 10 years ago," Wilson stepped forward. "While you thought we were just learning basic spaceflight, we were actually building this network. Every gate is armed. Every outpost is ready." The display changed to show the full extent of Earth's preparation. Hidden shipyards in distant asteroid fields, monitoring stations in other solar systems, and defensive platforms that could strike at Empire worlds if needed. "This is your final warning," Reed continued. "Earth is not alone. Earth is not afraid. And Earth is ready for anything you might try." General Roberts activated another display, showing recordings from the scout ship. "We know all your invasion plans. We've prepared countermeasures for every tactic. We've built defenses against every weapon. And we've done it all in secret, while you thought we were primitive." The quantum gates pulsed with energy, demonstrating their power. Each one could transport an entire battle fleet instantly, allowing Earth to respond to any threat anywhere in their protected space. "But we don't want war," Reed added, his voice softening slightly. "We want peace. Real peace, not the Empire's version of submission and control." The display changed again, showing scenes from Earth's cities, people of different nations working together, sharing technology, building a future. Then it showed similar scenes from other worlds, the survivors of Empire conquests who had helped Earth prepare. "This is humanity's final warning," Reed declared. "Leave our space. Never return with hostile intent. Tell your Empire that this sector of the galaxy is protected. Any aggressive action against Earth or its allies will be met with immediate response." To demonstrate this point, Earth's quantum gates synchronized, creating a network that could send forces anywhere in protected space within minutes. The aliens watched as human ships appeared and disappeared through the gates, showing how quickly they could respond to any threat. "You have 6 hours to retreat beyond the Kuiper Belt," Reed stated. "After that, we will consider any remaining ships as hostile forces. And trust me, Commander Val, you don't want to see what else we've been preparing for the past 15 years. Val's face showed a range of emotions: anger, frustration, and finally, acceptance. He knew his fleet was outmatched. More importantly, he knew the Empire's usual tactics wouldn't work here. "Remember this day," Reed concluded. "Remember what you saw here. And remember that Earth stands ready, not just for itself, but for any world that seeks freedom from conquest. The screen went dark, leaving the alien fleet to consider their options. But everyone in Earth's command center knew there was only one real choice. The Empire had finally met a force it couldn't conquer, and humanity's warning would echo through the galaxy, a message of strength, preparation, and unyielding resolve. 1 month had passed since the alien fleet retreated beyond the Kuiper Belt. They had taken humanity's warning seriously, leaving exactly as instructed. Now, Earth was experiencing its first days as a recognized power in the galaxy. Commander Reed stood at the window of the new International Space Center, watching ships take off from the recently unveiled spaceport below. Some were Earth vessels, but others came from distant worlds, allies who no longer needed to hide their connection to humanity. Another diplomatic mission arriving, Miller reported from his new station. He had been promoted after his role in detecting the alien fleet. This one's from the Centauri Alliance. Reed nodded, watching as the sleek diplomatic vessel descended through Earth's atmosphere. In the past month, Earth had received visitors from 30 different civilizations, some seeking protection, others wanting to establish trade relations. Admiral Wilson entered the control room, her uniform now bearing the new insignia of Earth's United Space Force. "The quantum gate network is complete," she reported. "We can now reach any point within 2,000 light-years in minutes." "And the Empire?" Reed asked, though he already knew the answer. Still maintaining their distance, Wilson replied with a slight smile. "Our monitoring stations report they've actually pulled back from several frontier worlds. Seems our warning had a bigger impact than expected." On the main screen, news broadcasts from around the world showed how Earth had changed. Cities now openly displayed advanced technology. Ships that had been hidden in underground bases flew freely through the skies. The public had taken the revelation of Earth's secret preparations surprisingly well. General Roberts reports that the first Joint Defense Fleet is ready. Wilson continued. Ships from Earth and 7 former Empire victims, all working together. They'll begin patrols next week. Reed watched as more ships lifted off from the spaceport. Each one carried the new symbol of Earth's Space Force, a blue and green circle surrounded by stars, representing their commitment to protecting not just their world, but all worlds that sought freedom. "The Empire's diplomatic message arrived this morning," Miller added. "They're officially recognizing Earth's protected space. All their ships have been ordered to avoid our territory." "And our allies?" Reed asked. "Growing stronger every day," Wilson replied. "The surviving resistance movements from other worlds are coming out of hiding. They're using our quantum gates to reconnect, to rebuild. The Empire's grip on this sector is weakening." Through the window, Reed could see one of Earth's new defense platforms gliding across the sky. Its design combined human innovation with technology shared by their allies, creating something entirely new, something that represented the future they were building. "Commander," Miller called out, "the President is ready for your report." Reed straightened his uniform and turned to the communication screen. But before he could begin his report, breaking news flashed across all channels. A group of Empire worlds, inspired by Earth's success, had declared their independence. They were requesting Earth's protection and offering their own technology and resources in return. "Looks like we started something bigger than we planned," Wilson commented. Reed smiled. "We didn't start it. Every world that resisted the Empire, every person who helped us prepare, they started it. We just showed that resistance was possible." The news continued to roll in. More worlds were breaking away from the Empire. Trade routes were being reestablished through Earth's protected space. Former victims of conquest were emerging as new allies, sharing their knowledge and joining Earth's defense network. "Send a message to all our allies," Reed ordered. "Earth stands ready to protect any world that seeks freedom. Our quantum gates are open to those who want to join us." As he watched more ships rise into the evening sky, Reed thought about how far they had come. 15 years ago, a crashed scout ship had shown them what they were facing. Now they had turned that warning into something unprecedented, a network of free worlds, standing together against conquest and control. The stars above were no longer a source of worry. Earth had made its point, shown its strength, and kept its promise. They were ready, they were waiting, and they were no longer alone. A new era had begun, and humanity was leading the way.